Greetings. Welcome to my video on Revit Storefronts and curtain walls as we continue to build the Barcelona Pavilion. So, some background here. So the meaning of curtain wall in our industry is different from the meaning in Revit. Okay, so this is in the real world. This is not in Revit. These are real world diagrams, of course. So we have storefronts here on the left, curtain walls here on the right. All right, so different frame sizes, the frame members, that's the pieces that are holding the glass, come in different sizes. Storefronts, so storefronts are what we commonly, when we're walking along through our cities, we, ground floor, Starbucks, that's typically storefront. Curtain walls are, we see in taller buildings, in multi-story buildings, basically. So here for the storefronts, the glazing is commonly placed in the center. That's what we see right here. So we see aluminum frame, glazing, or the glass, and then another aluminum frame, where in the curtain wall, the glazing is in front of the frame, and the frame is on the inside of the building and the glass is on the outside. So again, for these multi-story high-rise buildings, the glazing is what kind of creates that continuous sheet of glass that we see on many high-rises, and it's actually could just run straight down over in front of the floors, actually. So rarely spans multiple floors, usually spans multiple floors. These are not self-draining, and then these have gutters and weeps built into them, so they actually do drain. Okay, so now in the Revit world, the curtain walls so we have the same framing sizes for both. With the storefronts, these mullions, the mullions are here. This is our horizontal mullions or our vertical mullions. These are placed automatically. In the curtain wall, it is not placed automatically. Okay, these come with set spacing here in this curtain wall, and there is no set spacing for these. So the curtain wall is more of a custom piece. For our purposes, we're going to use storefronts, okay? And these embed in walls, while curtain walls do not embed in walls, okay? So this is some text that I found in Revit City that I thought was a good description. So the stock storefront is really just an automatic curtain wall, okay? So once it gets placed, it comes with all those mullions kind of being set into place per some background spacing, which we will be adjusting. It has the grid spacings vertically and horizontally all set up, ready to go. Curtain walls don't have those preset conditions. Okay, that's really the only difference. Okay, so let's start with the storefront. So we'll go to the Architecture tab, Build Panel, Wall button, then we'll go to the Property box, and we will go down and find the storefront. Okay, so let's start with that. I'm going to just jump into the 3D view. Here's our pavilion. In our last video, we put in our columns, so coming along, and now we need to get some glass into this building. Okay, I'm just going to draw off to the side here for a moment. I want to show you what the embedded wall, what that means exactly. So let's go to wall, and let's just pick a slender 4-inch wall. Draw that, zoom in a little bit. There's our 4-inch thick brick wall. And now let's embed a storefront in it. And scroll down, the storefronts live down here at the bottom. And we'll snap that right to its center line. And there it is. Let's do that one more time. Wall. There we go. Perhaps this one was too skinny. That's why it didn't come in with its frame. Maybe I didn't pull it long enough. So that's an embedded wall, or a storefront that's embedded in a wall. There we go. There we are. Okay, so fully embedded. You can't do that with a curtain wall, right? Delete and delete. Okay, so let's hide this guy here. Hide in view, just the element. I want to see the hide in view element. Okay, there we go. And let's jump over to our finished floor. And we'll draw this one freestanding piece right here. Okay, so not embedded. These storefronts are not embedded. They're all freestanding. So wall, storefront, good. Finished floor, yes. Up to the bottom of the ceiling, correct. No, there's no reason to have an offset. This is a full, just like our columns, 9 feet tall. So is our storefront. We will zoom in. Start. And finish. And there it is. So that's that. Now let's jump into 3D and see how that looks. Right, looks a little goofy. Needs some work. Let's just let me hide these guys as well. We'll just hide all of the whole category. Get rid of all of, oops, wrong, can't do that. Back up one. I will hide, can't hide the whole category, I'll hide the element. So hold the control button, select both, hide the elements. Okay, now we get a little bit of a cleaner view here. Let's just get this. There we go. Okay, and let's hide these columns as well. Hide that whole category. There we go. Now we get to see nice and clear. Okay, so let's check our cheat sheet. So we created, yes, we did that, and we discussed that. Okay, so to edit panel numbers and sizes, that's what's, when I say it looks goofy, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see, Mises storefronts are just full single panels. So we're going to go to the property box, edit type, brings up the type properties box, duplicate and rename. So in the property box, edit type is the first step. So let's bring up Revit again, select our object, confirms what we have there, and now we will come to edit type. So we've done a little bit of that with the walls. We'll be doing quite a bit more. And now what we want to do is duplicate, because if we, this is simply, anything we do here will be storefront. Let's just call it the pavilion. We don't want to affect all other storefronts. Okay, so we want to create something unique just for this project. All right. So now when we come back here and we go to this storefront, this typical storefront, that's just the out of the box one, and this is our pavilion one specifically. So two different things. All right. Let's see. That's what we just did. So for our grids, we want to change the arrangement to fixed number. Okay, so what does that mean? We are here. Here's our vertical grid. So our verticals, these guys that are standing up, and it is set at maximum spacing. All right. So there are numerous different ways that we could arrange where these vertical mullions come in at. Okay, we could, according to the distance, the number, this minimum or maximum spacing, I want to go with fixed number. And likewise, the horizontal grids, 1, 2, 3 pieces, I want to do the same. So let's get off of this fixed distance and go with fixed number. And I think that's all we need there. Let's say OK. And now we're back in our property box, and what that just accomplished was right here. So the horizontal grid and the number is there. Okay, so before this looked different when this was according to spacing, and the same there, our vertical grid. So this is telling us that we have 5 vertical ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, at this point we need to do a little homework, so let's bring up an image of the pavilion. So we need to refer to photographs. So here's the wall that we are building, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panes of glass. So that means it has 7 mullions separating them. So if we come back here in our vertical, and we said this should be 7. Apply, and that looks good. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of glass now. Select it again. And actually, let me just pause for a moment. So just going back to selecting things and the tab button, storefronts in particular, a lot of pieces to them. So I'm just my cursor is just hovering right where it is. and I start hitting that control button, and it's going to start scrolling through all the different pieces. It's just from this one location. So if you look down here at the bottom left of the screen, it's going to tell you what part you could select at that point. So here is the entire piece. So I hit the tab button. Now we have that vertical mullion. Then we jump to the horizontal. It's this whole storefront, the shape handle. That's not actually an object. So that's how we scroll through and get all the different pieces. Okay. Okay, so now we have, let's select it, select the whole object, and now we are talking about our horizontal grid. So there is one grid right there. Okay, so this piece, and that we do not want that there. Piece most certainly does not have any nice full length pieces of glass. So to get rid of this one now, so we got it selected. Here's our horizontal grid. That one is referring to that one, and I cannot go down to 0. Will not allow me to do that for some reason. Don't know why. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to select this guy, and now things are pinned. Okay, our floor plan is pinned in place, for instance. But when I say that, let me just show you quickly. So our image, that is. So I'm going to zoom out, select this raster image, the JPEG, and that pin right there is keeping it from moving, keeping anything from happening to it, all right? And likewise, when I come here and I select him, he's pinned, so he's safe. Now we will unpin him, and then we will delete him. And then here is a grid line. So again, this is not an object, an actual object. This is just a construction line. So I will select it, I will unpin it, and I will delete it, and then all of the mullions go away. So a pretty easy solution. I don't know why Revit doesn't allow us just to set that to 0, but such is the case. So there is our first wall. Okay, let's jump over to the floor plan. Let's always, as I say, let's always look at it in section before we move on. And here it is. So I hid those columns, but that was only in that specific view. In this view, they are there. And there's my storefront. Very nice. Framing at the top, framing at the bottom. Fits in, looks good. Okay, so let's jump back to the floor plan, and let's just do one more. Oh, we have to do doors. We haven't done doors yet. Okay, so let's put in this wall. Okay, so wall. Now we have our specific storefront pavilion right there. Let's get that. Let's zoom in right here. It's connected to this wall. Come back and see where it's landing exactly. And then we come to here. I'm going to turn the corner and come up top. Okay. All right, looks okay in plan. Let's see what it looks like in 3D. I did not pay any attention to my where this thing was landing in terms of yeah, it looks goofy. And let's select. So what I didn't do was I didn't pay attention to this. So finished floor, bottom of ceiling. So got lucky. Okay. So we obviously have way too many mullions here. So let us select, and we are still by default here. We are on number. We are on number of. Okay. And we want to take these down to 1. We'll apply that. Good. Actually, no, that's not what I wanted to do. We want to do some homework. So let us bring up some pictures and find this wall. And let's see, do I have a nice view of it? This is the wall right here. Three large panels according to this diagram. And I don't see any other pictures that I have in this group that are showing me. So I'm going to take a leap of faith and believe that 3 is correct. I'll confirm with some photographs afterwards. And we have a model here too. And it's showing 3 as well. I think we could go ahead. So vertical number is not 1. It is 2. There we go. So now we have, ignoring the horizontal pieces, we have 1 piece of glass, 2 pieces, 3. And now let us get rid of all of these not so attractive horizontal grids. So let's take that down to 1, apply, and repeat. So we come in, select, unpin, delete, get to the line, unpin, delete. Much better. Nice and clean. All right, now let's get to this piece here. Just get it. This looks good. Okay. And once again, let us come in here. So what we're going to do here is have a pair of double doors. We're going to have a pair of double doors. So we have to get rid of all of these and turn this into one piece of glass. So let's do that. Apply. Okay. And here as well for the vertical grid. Apply. Okay. Let's get rid of these two pieces. Unpin, delete, get to the line, unpin and delete. Get to that piece. And now for a door, we have to take out the bottom piece as well. We don't want a trip hazard. So now I am going to tab. So now I've got the glass. Now I have the mullion. Click, unpin, delete. Okay, let's check in on our cheat sheet just to make sure I'm not skipping things. So we discussed that. Deleting mullions, we discussed. Mullions are panels, so we talked about scrolling and selecting. We did that. Make sure when you're in plan, the window flip arrows show the exterior facing in the correct direction. So we discussed this briefly. Let's just review it again. So when we select this guy in plan, these arrows here are what we're talking about. So this is telling us that this is the exterior. So for our generic walls, it didn't matter. For our storefronts, it does. Okay, we're outside the pavilion here near the stairs, and we want this to be the outside facing piece. And we'll check here, and we got the same. Okay, so the outsides are facing out the way they should be. Good. Adding doors. Okay, so doors are not simply added as they are to walls. We haven't discussed that yet, but it's very easy to drop a simple, typical door into a typical wall, but not the case when it comes to storefronts, right? So glass panels are actually replaced with doors, okay? So that's why we had to pull away all those mullions to get to that piece of glass. We're going to turn that into a door. So now we're going to go to the Insert tab, and then we're going to go into the library and find some doors, okay? So there's a lot of stuff that's inside of Revit that is not readily available. It's close to available, but it's not right here. So when we come here, for instance, all of this stuff is what I'm calling readily available. All right, some stuff we have to jump in and we have to load it into this project is what we have to specifically do. So insert, load family, and then I believe we're going to doors or to storefront. Let's see. All right, so we discussed that. Insert, load family, button, doors folder, curtain wall doors. Okay, door folder, curtain wall doors is what I was looking for. So here's our door folder, and here are our, let's see, curtain storefront, double doors. There we go. So numerous types of doors, so overhead doors, glass doors, so all these things you might not, again, when you go to doors, inserting doors, you might not find them in the property box. So there are things that are in Revit, but not specifically in your project. So that's what we're doing. We're digging into Revit to move things into your project. So here's a door, double door. So let's double click. And you see the thing churn, kind of just blinked, and we know that it's in. I believe there's a single door on the other side. Nope, double door there. Some single doors over there. So while we're here on the subject, I'm just going to go ahead and load the single door as well. So the one I loaded there has this big frame. I'm actually going to load this one as well. It doesn't have the frame. We'll have to take a look at some pictures to decide what we like best. And one more time, and here's a single door. So let's load all three. All right, all three have been loaded, hopefully, and here we are. Okay, let's take a look at the door. And it is actually a frame door I can see right here. So it is not the frameless one that I thought it might have been, but it's not. They have frames. So now we need to, let's just jump back in here. So we deleted the mullion at the ground. So now we need to select the glass panel that's going to be replaced, go to the property box and replace it with the door. Select the door. Okay. So now just to note, again, talking about selecting objects, here's my storefront pavilion. When I select this whole piece and I come down here, there are no doors. Okay, that's because I have the entire assembly selected. All right, so don't do that. I'm going to come here and I'm going to tab. And I'm looking down here at the bottom, again, that bottom left of my screen. So right now there's the whole pavilion. Now there's a chain of walls or lines. That's not what I want. And here it is, glazed R1. That's my piece of glass. Select, unpin it. Now when I drop this box, here are my doors. And I have I'm looking for my double door. What is this? Let me just try to read this here. Glass. I'm just going to take a guess. I'm not sure which one is. There we go. I got lucky. That's the one with the frame. Okay, so the door, curtain wall, double storefront. There it is. Okay, looks pretty good. Okay, two more little details to take care of. We have no doorknobs here. So I'm going to select, actually it's not even a selection, it's not even a selection issue, I don't believe. It's the level of detail. So if we move that to fine, doors appear, doorknobs appear, door pulls. So that's just one of those little peculiar things about Revit. So you might not know that otherwise. But again, like in my first introduction to the whole program, we talked about this, and I gave the example of the structural timbers. If you ever work with those, if you're on coarse or medium, they just show up as single lines, but you have to come into fine for them to actually show up as three-dimensional objects. So a little peculiar. You have to just, sometimes you have to be aware that that's the case. The other thing I want to take care of is this corner, which is not so attractive. As we have a, get to my tabbing. So there. We have a vertical mullion there that belongs to the doors, and a vertical mullion right here that belongs to the windows. So that is not too attractive. So let's just select one, see what we can do. It is pinned, not pinned. It is not pinned right now. We always have to keep an eye on that as well. And if we drop this, let's put in a 5x5 corner. And corner mullion overlaps. We're aware of that. Let's see what happens if we go with delete. And better. Good. So that looks a little cleaner. It looks a little big, but it kind of is what it is in that regard. Okay, very good. Let's check back on our cheat sheet. All right, to create unequal sizes. So this is not for the pavilion. Unlock and change dimensions. Okay, so just jumping into plan, and let's come and select this piece here. So I got it right there, perhaps. Yes, so looking at the bottom left of my screen, curtain wall grid line, select, unpin, and now dimensions have appeared here. So this is how we could move this this vertical mullion. If we didn't want them to be equal space, we could come in and actually change dimensions. Not relevant for our pavilion, but important to know. Okay, so I am not going to draw any more. I'm going to leave it to you to finish. So we have the same happening here. So there are two curtain walls here, 1 and 2. These are frosted. I would guess there's mechanical equipment or something in here that needed to be hidden. So that's why that space was created. So 2 walls there, again here, and another set of doors there. And then in our little secondary structure, so here we have 1 curtain wall coming across the front with 8 pieces of glass, and the 7th one from the left here becomes a single door. And then in here, I'm not clear, this looks like it was drawn as glass. I'm not sure why it appears there's glass there. That's a little confusing. These are obviously, this is a bathroom, so it would not be glass unless it were frosted. I would draw these as very slender, maybe even like 2-inch, 2-inch generic walls, and then I would put doors in them, and that's just so that when we print the floor plan, we have something in here. We have the lines showing. We're not going to go inside this room. There's obviously, this is probably, no offense, but probably one of the least interesting parts of the pavilion. But in plan, we want it to look correct. And there's a window here as well. So let's talk about that. Okay, so there's not this little punched-in window. That's what you call a punched-in window, different from storefront. Not a lot of pictures of it. What I do have is a drawing here. So this is a nice drawing. So here's the plan and the elevation. So here is our southern elevation, looking up, and here is our east elevation. Okay. So right here is the window, and right here is it drawn in elevation, right there. Okay, so this is divided by thirds, this wall, and the window is centered, and then it is divided top to bottom in thirds as well, and we know that that's 9 feet, and so this is a 3-foot panel. Okay, so this is 1.5 feet tall then, right? So it's 3, 6, 9, and that's 1.5 feet tall. And then we'll go to our plan and see what our width is for this. So let's jump into Revit here and select our wall, and it is 20 and change. So I'm going to call it 21 and simplify my life a little bit, because we're not really going to be looking at this. We just need something that looks good in plan. So 7 feet wide by 1.5 feet tall is what we are looking at. Okay, so let's go to Architecture, Window, and yes, we want a fixed window. Let us edit the type, duplicate it, 7 feet by 1.5 feet. And we're just going to call it the pavilion window. Okay. So our height, 1 foot 6. That's what we said, 3 feet, half of 3 feet, yes. 1.5 feet, yes. And the width is 7. And we'll deal with the materials later. Does it look like a wood window, which we know that it is not. And so we are set, ready to go. So you could see that I have the little sign there, the circle with the slash through it, saying I can't do anything. That's because you can't just drop windows. You need a wall to put a window in. Okay, so that's why now I can do it. So yeah, if you don't have a wall, you can't see the window. So now the sill height is 3 feet. That is not correct. This is tall. So we said, let's just go right back to that drawing one more time. So we're looking right here. So we said again, 3, 6, 9 feet total. So this is 3 feet up, 6 feet up. So the sill is at 6 feet above the finished floor. So the sill height is 6 feet. And then let's just drop it right in. You can see these dimensions popping up. And it is clicking nicely to the center and drop. I believe. Did that work? I'm not sure if that worked. Let's take a look in 3D. Spin. And yes, it does look like it worked. Okay, so we'll be putting the grid on this later, so that is correct. So why we didn't see it in plan, actually, was because the plans are typically cut, and this is another topic we will be getting to. Plans are typically cut through at around 4 feet or so, 4 feet above the finished floor. So this window is just out of that cut plane. We could adjust it if we wanted to show it, but not so important really to see it in plan, but it's there. So if by chance we create a rendering, for instance, and we're up here with a camera and we're looking down, we would see that window. So that is a good thing. Okay, let me quickly drop in this generic wall and door, just because we haven't reviewed doors yet. They're very simple, just like the window. Okay, so let's go to architecture, wall. We're done with storefronts for now. Let's get a generic wall. So this wall needs to be placed perfectly in the middle of this single mullion that's going to be showing up here. So this drawing is a little confusing and peculiar. I find how I see a wall here, and this wall is drawn like a storefront where I could see the actual glazing, but then we have this additional one here, so I find that a little confusing. But nonetheless, let's edit the type, duplicate, and yeah, let's just make this really so. Really slender. So typically there aren't 2-inch walls out there, unless it is glass. It could be that slender. But okay, so I think this and then this, the width. 2-inch generic. Edit the structure and change the 5 to a 2. And that looks good and good. But what I was getting at is that we want this wall to be so slender so that it's hidden behind the mullion. That was the whole point of that. So let's go again. Wall, 2-inch, good. Start here, and so I would do this after you draw this. I wouldn't go in this order. I would draw the storefront first and then draw this. I'm not going to draw any more storefront here. I've done a few examples. So it'll be somewhere there, and it should be running right into a mullion and hiding behind it. Okay. I did not pay attention to my finished floor. Good. Bottom of ceiling. Good. Okay. And then a door. Simple. So we're definitely not going to be doing any renderings or coming into this space. Not the most interesting space of all that we have to look at in this beautiful pavilion. There's our door, so it's a single flush wood door. I highly doubt that's what it is, but in plan we wouldn't know any different. And then again, so I'm not allowed to just drop doors. I need a wall, a host we call it, and then I could drop it right there. And that just landed just fine. When I select the door, I find these arrows so that I can move the swing and the hinge sides. But that'll work just like that. So now again, in plan, we'll see that. So I would just 2-inch generic right there, 1, 2 doors, and that's it. Very simple. The materials, again, we're not going to render there, so I'm not going to bother going in and worrying about those materials. Okay, let's jump into our 3D and see where we are. So there's our new window. Let's come to the display what we have hid when we started this. Select, unhide and view, elements, element, so, all right, turn that off, and now let's take a look what we've accomplished. So I have not accomplished everything, but I got it started pretty well. Let's look in there. So looking pretty good, pretty good. Let's just spin this around and take a look at the door. I think that this file has a strange orbit to it, I think because of the raster image actually is very big, and it's kind of rotating around that center. But everything looks neat to me. And let's always take one last look in section. So let's just see our finished floor plan. And let's bring this section out so we can see our storefront right there. There's our storefront. Looks good. Nice and neat. Okay, very good. Thank you for following along, and good luck.